Hi everybody, I'm in Virginia on the sunken road at Fredericksburg, where the Union suffered one of its greatest disasters. By late 1862, the American Civil War had been raging for over a year and a half. The Union Army had suffered major setbacks in Virginia, and President Abraham Lincoln was desperate for a victory to boost Northern morale and solidify support for the war effort. To achieve this goal, Lincoln appointed a new commander, General Ambrose Burnside, who devised an aggressive plan. His goal was simple but bold: move quickly to the town of Fredericksburg, Virginia, cross the Rappahannock River, and march straight to Richmond, the Confederate capital. Yet things would not go according to plan. When Burnside's army of 120,000 men arrived on the banks of the Rappahannock in November of 1862, the pontoon bridges needed to cross the river weren't there. They were delayed by bureaucratic mistakes and miscommunication. Those lost days proved critical. Confederate General Robert E. Lee seized the opportunity. He quickly moved his army to occupy the high ground just outside Fredericksburg, known as Marye's Heights, which overlooked the city and the river. By the time the pontoon bridges finally arrived, the Confederates had a commanding defensive position. On December 11th, Union engineers attempted to build their bridges under heavy Confederate fire from sharpshooters. Union soldiers crossed the river to drive out the sharpshooters, and unlike most Civil War battles fought in open fields, the fighting here was done house to house and street to street, until the Union troops successfully pushed the sharpshooters out of town. 2 days later, on December 13, 1862, with his pontoon bridges completed, Burnside made the fateful decision to order a massive assault on the Confederate lines stretching along the ridgeline west of town. What followed would become one of the most one-sided battles of the Civil War. Wave after wave of Union soldiers advanced across open fields towards a stone wall at the base of Marye's Heights. Waiting behind it were Confederate infantry and artillery, firing from a near-perfect defensive position. The Union attacks were repelled again and again, 14 major assaults, all ending in slaughter. By nightfall, the field in front of Marye's Heights was covered with thousands of Union casualties. Over 12,000 Union soldiers were killed, wounded, or captured. By the next morning, a cold fog covered the battlefield. The cries of wounded men lying helplessly between the lines echoed across the fields. One Confederate soldier, Sergeant Richard Kirkland of South Carolina, later known as the Angel of Marye's Heights, risked his life by climbing over the wall to give water and aid to the dying Union soldiers. Kirkland was later killed at the Battle of Chickamauga in Georgia, but today a statue on the Fredericksburg battlefield honors his heroism and humanity. In the end, the Battle of Fredericksburg was a disastrous Union defeat and forced Lincoln back to the drawing board. Burnside's campaign had collapsed, Northern morale plummeted, and Robert E. Lee's reputation soared. Today, Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania National Military Park preserves these hallowed grounds. Visitors can walk along the sunken road at Marye's Heights and stand at the famous stone wall where Confederate soldiers held their ground. One popular attraction is the Ennis House. Standing along the sunken road, it still bears damage from the Battle of Fredericksburg. When it was restored by the National Park Service in 1987, over 50 bullet holes were found on the inside and outside of the small home, many covered by old wallpaper. The nearby visitor center features artifacts from the battle and moving personal accounts from soldiers on both sides. Down by the Rappahannock, the town of Fredericksburg is as charming as ever. The buildings and the landscape remain much as they were during those fateful days in 1862. So come to Fredericksburg. It's one of the best places in Virginia.